Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Wrestle Theory. I am your host, co-host actually, Alvin Peoples. But you guys may know me as the People Choice podcast host and owner. If you guys haven't, please check that out. I guess I'll put that somewhere in the video around here. But we're not going to be talking about my podcast. This is a passion project, and really would love to see where this can go. And I'm here with a good friend of mine. I've known him since basically forever since middle school. Yeah. And we're big wrestling fans, different time periods, but we came together. We're both diehards, and we'll do our research. We'll talk some shit, have fun, and that's what it's all about. We're just having fun. My peeps. So used to just saying my peeps and stuff. That's why I call my audience. But now I guess what we're gonna call our Wrestle Theory fans, or what we're gonna call them. Do you want to call them peeps too, or do you want to call them something else?
Yeah, well, we don't want Christian hitting us with a lawsuit.
Hey, that's where I got it from, bro.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome,
That's where I
actually.
got it from. I was a big Christian fan, shit. But
Don't ask me. I'll name him the Miz Taraj, bro.
not the Mister. But we'll figure that out. But as you can see, guys, this is our first episode. We're so
We'll let them
passionate
name
about it.
themselves.
Yeah, we'll let y'all name yourselves. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me give the floor to my boy Devin over here. This is Devin Oos.
What's going on, guys? My name is Devin. Like Alvin said, we've been friends since middle school. Both big wrestling fans from the past and also currently. So obviously we're a niche market, to talk about because wrestling is a very small fracture where it's either you don't like it, you don't talk about it, or you love it, right? And that's where we're at. So we're here for those wrestling lovers, those wrestling true fans. We're here to talk about it. We're going to cover everything from as far as currently in WWE, AEW, some other wrestling promotions. We're going to talk about stuff going on kayfabe wise. We're going to talk about some stuff unkayfabe wise, whether backstage drama, stuff like that. So, and let us know what else you want us to talk about. We got a couple things we're going to talk about today. Alvin, you want to start us off?
Yeah, definitely. So what we're going to talk about today is we got the top 5 people we feel that WWE dropped the ball with, or Vince, I should say, in the Vince era dropped the ball with, or what's that? How you say it, Devin? When you said he
got hoed.
got hoed. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna put that in the cat. Like got hoed, by Vince. Over the years, and I mean, of course, we as diehard wrestling can think of way more than 5, but we try to narrow it down. And
Just
it's gonna
5
be
people who
interesting.
deserve the spotlight this week. So technically 10.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, because there's no guarantee if they're going to be the same people. And we're also going to talk about the bloodline that's currently going on right now, and what we
And
feel that should be going on, or what we would do currently to keep the story going. What you gonna say, bro?
and the new WWE championships. We're going to talk about some of those because they got pretty bold and dropped a couple new titles in only like 2-3 weeks. So we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, man. Actually, shit. If we think since the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, so almost a month, they've been dropping these new titles, and one is good, and the others are. We'll
I
see.
see two
But
more title changes. We'll talk about that later.
exactly. All right. Oh shit, my phone's ringing. All right, let me hang it up. We'll also talk about predictions. That's only, or at least we're not live. I can always edit it.
Oh
But
yeah,
we'll
for
also
sure.
the title look and also predictions.
Because Money in the Bank is coming up. Check the briefcase. We got
Yeah.
that could be a big change for the future. Could be a big change for our WWE Universal Undisputed Champion too.
Facts. And you got some awesome like memorabilia right there. I can't wait to hook mines up, so we could get the theme this going. But yeah, like I said, Devin, one of the best wrestling fans that I know, and I can't think of no one else other than my boy Derek. I know you're gonna watch this, so shout out to you. That would be ready for topics like this. So let's start off, Devin. I'll let you go first with your top 5 that got Hoed or slash Vince dropped the ball on with.
All right, so going number 5. This is somebody who I feel like got hoed in the Vince era, but also still currently getting hoed today. They might salvage his career, they might not. My number 5 is Baron Corbin. Because Baron Corbin had a good start on NXT. Currently has one of the most protected wrestling finishers in the game, only being kicked out of once. I forget who did it.
They AJ Styles.
It might have been AJ Styles, yeah. But overall, Baron has been a solid heel in the wrestling WWE for the past decade. Every storyline they've put him in, he has sold it well, and they've been scared to pull the trigger on him being a main event villain. All right, he had the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he got hoed by Jinder Mahal and John Cena. We'll never forget that. I was actually mad for him. They did a lot, like they had him do the broken storyline where he was poor and sad and depressed, and the fans loved it so much.
That
And
shit
then
was funny to me.
yeah, but I mean, either way you want to put it, he played his role, right? And
Yeah.
then it was supposed to have a big payoff, and then we just got Happy Corbin. Like they just threw the story away, say he won the lottery, and then he came out with a fedora on.
Yeah, like it was so stupid to me. Like I'm like, if y'all would have that had wheels, like they could have had was it they were calling like bad luck Corbin, or where he was down in his luck, he
Yeah,
was broke, he
it
had like
had so much
mustard
potential.
stain, yeah,
Yeah,
like
he
on his
wore the
shirts.
same shirt. Even Kevin Owens was like, "Damn, dog, I'm gonna be nice to you, bro. Like you deserve it."
Yeah,
And
like, Devin always gave him like a couple dollars to help.
for
He's like, here, help you get on your feet a little bit. Like it was
yeah,
that,
for long-term storytelling, that actually had potential to be an awesome like Baron Corbin face turn. And I normally don't like face turns because I feel like some people do awesome as heel. But for Baron Corbin, that was like that's how you transition somebody from a heel to a face. That would have been a great payoff. I think it would have been awesome. And they just decided, nah, screw that. Make him win the lottery and then be a jerk. And then they threw Madcast Moss in there for some reason. I don't know why.
bro. There's a lot of things that we do that I just don't know why. Like, and that's as I agree 100% on you with Baron Corbin because it's funny when I think about Corbin. Like I remember they were saying like when he first debuted on SmackDown when he came from NXT, they were like, "This guy has all the potential of being a future WWE champion,"
hmm
and they literally dropped the ball in him. Like
Also,
they,
he was at the time, I forget what, but there was some metal like cover, and they do this award for most metal athlete of the year. And the only WWE superstar to win it at the time was Triple H, and then Baron Corbin won it, I think, in 2016. He was the second WWE superstar ever to win most metal athlete of the year.
honestly,
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it was like the moment he cut his hair, they were like, "Nah, bro."
bro,
That's when they were
honestly,
like, "It's in the bin."
when they saw he was going bald, yeah, they were like, "Nah, bro, we're not gonna give you this war
Because
because
I ain't
I
gonna lie to you.
actually like the general manager push they gave him.
Yeah,
I like that. I thought that he could be a top heel as a world champion one day if they really run with it. But just like WWE always do, they wait to pull the trigger too long, or they just
yeah.
scrap it
And
completely.
even when he was King Corbin, like he was still a mid card like bully heel, but he was doing it well. This man bullied Gable into changing his name at one point. Uh, Shorty G, I hated that so
ODG,
much.
I hated that. He
That was so
deserves so much
trash.
more. He deserves
Well,
so much more than that.
mm. All right. Let's get into your number five. Who you got?
So my number five, which this is funny to some, but I'm gonna put Alex Riley. So Alex,
Oh,
yeah, like we're
that's
going
a
way
deep
back.
cut. Wow, A Rod.
Alex A-Rod, man, that dude had so much momentum when he broke away from Miz. They gave him a cool theme song. Like he had a really cool finisher. Like they put him in the Money in the Bank when they first were doing that split where they had the Raw Money Bank and the
Yeah, he
SmackDown
used to
Money in
come
the
out with a
Bank.
little sleeveless varsity jacket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he
Michael
was
Cole is A
so
Rod.
so freaking talented, man. That dude had the it factor, but I don't know what happened. I heard there was some politics between him and Cena. Maybe any of our listeners could help us out, or anyone who's seen these clips or whatever, But I heard he got into it with Cena about something, and then they like put him on NXT, but they weren't really doing nothing. They wanted him to change his appearance, and then I remember he had long hair at one point. He kind of looked like
hmm
Triple H. It was weird when he was on
Yeah,
NXT
so
for a little bit.
it's funny you brought up NXT too because I remember Alex Riley from his first initial like time in WWE as Miz's sidekick. I remember him breaking three, he got breaking free, had a little push there. But then a couple years later, I'm like, I wonder what happened to Alex Riley. Then I look into it and I saw he had a whole arc on NXT where I think it was Baron Corbin that was bullying him, or Kevin Owens. It was one of them that was like basically
I
giving
think
him
KO. Yeah, I think
yeah, it
so.
was one of them was bullying him while he was being a an announcer, and then he got into it, and they ended up giving him a contract. And I thought like, wow, that's a really cool like comeback story. And then he lost. So and I get it, especially like at that point in time, Kevin Owens was like very very dominant too, because that's around when he won the NXT championship. That's when he beat John Cena's U.S. championship in disrespect to the United States championship. So that was a big time for Kevin. So I understand why he lost, but at the same time yeah, Alex got done dirty.
Yeah, man, done dirty, man. And before you know it, he was out of the company. So it's like, what the fuck? It's still, I want to know, like why they did not pull the trigger. Because it's not like I could think of something of Alex Riley and say, oh, he was a bad worker. He hurt people. Like, I mean, he wasn't the best promo guy, but I don't remember too many opportunities of him being on the promo. Like, I don't know why. But yeah, that's my number five. So who's your number four?
All right, so my number four, ironically, is the person that we talked about that kind of gave us this idea. But my number four is Derek Bateman, aka EC3.
Uh,
Yeah,
yes.
he was somebody that really like got let was a big letdown on his return because it wasn't even like I get his Derek Bateman stuff wasn't really hot. On the NXT show, him and Daniel Bryan's comedy act was pretty good together. I actually enjoyed those challenges where they would like kind of be goofy together. But then once he got released, because they literally had him like do one match on SmackDown after that, and they just fired him or cut him or whatever the case
Yeah.
was. But then I heard from a person who actually got me back into wrestling that he was like, "Oh yeah, that guy he's on a TNA or one of Impact or one of those." And I look back and he's EC3 and he's this badass guy, the one
Yeah.
percenter, the
The 1%
yeah.
Dixie Carter's nephew, Rich Steele
Yeah,
nephew.
Ethan Carter
Yeah.
the third, and he was
Yeah.
awesome. So when they said he was coming to NXT, and this is when NXT had Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole. This was a
Yeah.
good time in
They
NXT
just brought
too.
in Ricochet too. Yeah.
And Rick, yeah,
And,
and then they
and
were all in with Velveteen Dream, and they were all in that
Velveteen.
six
Yeah.
man ladder match for the North American title. Which I'm not mad
Mhm.
Adam Cole won it first, because I'm pretty sure it was Adam Cole who won that match. But
Yeah,
like,
it was. Yeah. It was good. Really good match.
great match. And on top of that too, it was like he came at a prime time with a bunch of main eventers in NXT. So NXT was hot. He was a great addition to that. But it
Mhm.
was like the rest of them went to the main roster and flourished, and they didn't give him a chance. Like literally didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah, like it was just awful, man. They fed him when they brought him up. They fed him to Dean Ambrose, so
Dean
they gave him
Ambrose,
a
yep.
quick win. So I was like, all right, cool. And then they were gonna put him in like this intercontinental like tournament thing they were doing with I forget who the champion was at the time, but
I think it was
then
Dean Ambrose because Dean did the heel turn and took it from Seth.
yeah, it could have been Dean.
It
Yeah,
was the
like they
same night Roman had leukemia. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, well, actually, that was I think they were tag champs at the time, and then he left, and then ended up winning the Intercontinental. But I think Dean was the Intercontinental champion, or Dean like just dropped it not too long. But it was a big win either way for EC3, and then for what they had him do was just
Yeah, it was a good way to
pose
start
in the
building him up.
mirror. Yeah, like they had him pose in the mirror and not say nothing, and
Like this man
like
had more screen time on Alexa Bliss's like little talk show than he did in the ring. And then they had him chasing the 24/7
yeah,
champion.
bro,
And I was like, bro, come on, man. Give him a match.
for real, it was like that's the best that y'all could do. Like EC3, like this guy's built, he's jacked, he could cut a damn good promo, he's a decent
Yeah,
wrestler.
and then since I don't know if you know, but since he left the company, he went and started his own wrestling promotion. Or oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can't say if he started his own, but originally he got with Braun Strowman and somebody else, and he went on this wrestling promotion I'm not really familiar with, and he started
Yeah,
this change the narrative like
changed.
push.
Yeah, like
You've heard about change the narrative, yeah.
yeah, they do a lot of work with the indie company I was telling you about down here in North
Oh,
Carolina
okay,
with Ring North
yeah.
Carolinas. Yeah, like so yeah, I'm familiar with it. It's just crazy how that control the narrative thing started. Like his character for one to control the narrative, and then for him to turn that into a company. But unfortunately, I don't know if they're still doing stuff like that. I know once
It
Braun
didn't
left.
help that it didn't help that Strowman joined, but then Triple H took
Mhm.
over and called him back, which I mean, good for
Yeah,
Strowman. Strowman should have never got let go in the
yeah,
first place,
facts.
but it was like the Black Friday where everybody was getting cut. So,
Mhm.
all right, who you got for number four?
So my number four is John Morrison.
Oh, okay.
John Morrison. He got the and then just you know what I'm saying, man. Love John Morrison. Like I didn't like him as much as Johnny Nitro, but he was still a really good wrestler. Just I didn't like the character. When he went to ECW and became John Morrison, and he changed up like his look a little bit and his wrestling move set and everything. Like I was like, man, this guy is money. And there was a point after him and Miz broke up, and they split up and they were pushing Miz, and they gave Morrison a little push too. They had him in a W Championship match with Sheamus, and then they put him in like I think another like 3-way or 4-way, and he just kept losing. Like I was like, why was that? Why they not push him? They gave him like his own segment where he would do the parkour stuff. I remember those where they were showing
Mm-hmm.
like they were trying to build this guy up, but then it's like when it was time to give him like a singles title run, especially world title, they'll make him lose until he ended up leaving and going to Lucha Underground and all these other places, Impact and everywhere where he's been taken care of. Like in AAA, he won world titles, and Impact he won a world title, but Vince for some reason just does not like him.
Honestly, yeah, I think that one I can't even say is directly Vince, but definitely had a big effect on it because he went to Lucha, it was Johnny Mundo, and was a
Yep.
world champion. They treated him like a top guy there, and he sold. He did his job. He made it believable that he was a top guy. He walked out, he acted, he treated like a top guy. His in-ring ability is insane. Definitely very underrated. Even like when they fired him his last iteration with WWE, it
Mm,
didn't make sense because literally they had Miz and Morrison were like killing it in the tag team division. Like not even like matches, just entertainment value, right?
mm.
Miz is in a wheelchair with the squirt gun. They had the drip guns, so, like
Yeah, the
everything. Like
drink.
it was hilarious, bro. So they were killing it, honestly. And then they wanted Miz to turn on John Morrison again for whatever reason, you know. And then after that, they just said like, don't even. They didn't even say good luck, bro. They said like just go, you know. Because I've seen some of John Morrison's interviews after the fact, and it was like they just sent him a text and they were like, "Hey, bro, just don't come back," you know.
It's so messed up, man. Typical WWE. I mean, the same company that sent Trish Stratus to shit in the trash. I mean, not Trish Stratus. Mickey James's shit in the trash bag. Like what the hell,
Mm-hmm.
man? It was just crazy, bro. But yeah, John Morrison is on my list. How about you?
Oh, okay, number three. This is a good one. So my number three is actually Cesaro.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't
So
even have him on my list. That's a good one.
here's the reason I got Cesaro on my list, right? So I'm not even gonna act like I'm the biggest Cesaro fan, right? But you cannot deny his in-ring ability is crazy. If you look at like pops on YouTube, right? You go to like top 100 pops, or like WWE will post their own videos too of like greatest like moments and greatest moves and stuff, like craziest like OMG moments. That's what they're called, OMG moments. Cesaro is in like 60% of the video, and
Mm,
there's 60% of him his doing an uppercut off something crazy. And I'm
right.
like, that's crazy that all the coolest moments that you record for every year, Cesaro is in more than half the video, or anybody else in the video, but they never gave him title like a title opportunity like that. He had a
Right.
good United States Championship run. He had a good tag run. I mean, him and Sheamus in the bar was probably the peak of his career with
Yeah.
WWE, but very underrated. I mean, I think he's doing well in AEW right now with the BBC Blackpool Combat Club,
Yeah.
but
He's current Ring of Honor World Champion. Yeah. So,
yeah, I think he's doing good there, but he could have done something of that sort in WWE. I just don't think. I think they were scared to pull the trigger on him mainly because of his character. Because I do think the best his character was is when he came out in the suit. He had the Cesaro section. He had the
yeah.
shave.
So section. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. But because yeah, his in ring ability, his move set, bro. Like he had the swing, he had the cyborg thing.
Mm,
I forget the
the
name.
the
The
neutralizer.
neutralizer.
He
Yeah,
had
he did the swing.
the UFO, man, when he brought that back because he's doing the indies all the time.
Mhm.
And Cesaro was so over, bro. Like when I loved
So
that
over.
United
Yeah.
States Championship run he had, and then when he did the bar and the Cesaro section, man, and
They sold the bar so well to the fans. They were over.
it's crazy. Like when I think back, because I'm like, damn, like I remember when he was a singles guy, and I was like, man, I want him in singles. I wish he get a world title shot. But then the tag team was great. Then when they split up the bar, and then he was kind of just floating. He challenged Aleister Black and that open challenge thing. Then they
Hmm.
finally gave him a world title, well, the Universal Championship opportunity, just for him to get
Yeah,
squashed by Reigns. I mean, we'll throw it up one time. Wait, let me get that. You know what I'm saying? Like we love and hate Roman Reigns. It's so crazy.
it's an abusive relationship we have with him.
For real. And then yeah, he left and went to bigger and better, sort of. His career definitely with the Blackpool Combat Club, winning the Ring of Honor champion, and currently doing stuff constantly every week instead of like W. This guy will go like 6 weeks. We went and see Cesaro. Like he'll be there, and then before you know it, 6 weeks, 3-4 weeks go by. Then there's nothing. And then he'll pop back up. It was just sad to see. Wasted fucking potential. Damn you,
Mhm.
Vince. So my number three is Mister Canada.
Canada!
Gotta do it like that, man. Oh wait, yeah, come back. Canada. Yeah,
Canada!
Canada.
That's a throwback pick. Okay, wow.
That's because it just doesn't sit right with me, man. Like Mr. Kennedy to me was like the next world champion. And he even said it in some of his interviews he had with Chris Van Vliet and many others. Like this guy was about to become the world champion, but got misdiagnosed with a torn tricep.
Okay, cool. So I was gonna bring that up when you said that.
Yeah,
I remember reading
yeah.
or hearing something. about how his whole career got like basically downhill because he got a bad doctor's review, and
Yeah, like
because of that, they
Stephanie.
made. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, like Stephanie told him because WWE doctors was like, oh yeah, you torn your tricep, and she called him, got him booked. They bought him a flight all the way to Alabama. First had him even drop the Money Bank because Money Bank champion time. I mean, that champ holder gave it to Edge because they need to
Mr.
get the
Money in the
title
Bank,
off
yeah.
Taker. Yeah, and then so Edge went and got his spot that he's supposed to have just for him to get to Alabama, and the doctor just touches his arm and is like, that's not torn. And then they do their like x-rays and MRIs and everything, and he's like, oh no, you just got a bad bruise, you can go back. Like, that's, man, that shit pissed me off, bro, because dude just lost his momentum because he got hoed by Edge, lost his briefcase. Now he don't even have the surgery to, at least if he's out for that long period of time, fans will kind of forget about that, and then they could bring him back, you know what I'm saying, and build
Mm-hmm.
him up again. But nope, they're like, go back. And then he gets in trouble, and then they bring him back. He does that freaking tag team match with the Lakers and Nuggets, and they win. But because he dropped Randy on his neck, which to me it looked like a regular backdrop, but
Yeah.
Randy complained about it. Plus, there was rumors about Randy not liking him. They were friends, but didn't like him, didn't like the push he was getting. So complained enough, and then they said that he said before too in an interview. I don't know if it was with Van Vliet or with another, but they were blaming him for Cena tearing his pec, and he had heat ever since then because when he took that hip toss,
Mm-hmm.
that's when he tore his pec. But they like to say, oh no, it was the RKO on the announce table. Everyone knows it was the hip toss, but they gave him all the
Yeah.
heat. And he's like, how do you give heat to someone who's taking the finisher or taking the
Yeah.
move?
Like how you
Like,
blame him?
like what the hell? Like it's crazy. Like, he got hoed bad. Went TNA, he did win the world title twice, and he's
Especially.
doing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, yeah, especially to get mad over like getting hurt one time by a person. So I can understand, like constantly, but part of the game is you're going to get hurt doing the moves. The reason they practice and train to do what they do is so that way you're taking care of yourself and your opponent. Realistically, return the kayfabe wall for a sec.
Facts.
But
I know, right?
I can understand like when somebody's just constantly reckless to have heat with them. Like I know Ryback was a big reason for CM Punk leaving the company. I remember
Yeah.
watching CM Punk in an interview talking about how like Ryback literally just chucked him, missed the table, and threw him straight on the
Yeah.
concrete. Stuff like that.
I saw the video, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like stuff like that. I understand having heat for, but it's like you're in a match with somebody that hurt. Like, look at Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Seth isn't or Finn isn't like actually hates Seth for like the whole tear. I mean, it derailed his career to what it could have been for sure. But
Mhm.
I mean, it was just a buckle bomb on the barricade, which ironically Finn did give him one back the other week. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's that shit's crazy, yeah, man. Finn, he could be on this list too, but I think there's more people that got fucked over more than
more than Finn.
Finn. Yeah,
Hey, Finn is hot right now, bro. Finn's hot
Yeah.
right now, honestly.
Yeah, man. Since joining the Judgment Day and everything that goes on with
Mm-hmm.
him, Dominic Mysterio, Rhea, man. I mean, he's been killing it. Damien Priest, like the Judgment Day. I think they could be.
They can get their own episode, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just for real. Yeah,
How good
they
they're
really
doing.
can. They
So
really
much to
can, man.
unpack there.
But yeah, so Mr. Kennedy is mine. Like, I felt like he got fucked pretty badly. And like I say, even though he went to TNA, won the world title there, but it's not the same. And I mean, now he does wrestling school, so he's doing really well with
Mm-hmm.
that. He's happy doing that, and hopefully I can get him on my podcast. So there,
Hey, I
wait for him
mean,
to waiting for
let's
him to
find
reply back
out.
to my message. So I mean, I would love to get him on here too. Shoot, that'd be great.
We're here for it.
Exactly.
Okay, going into my number two. So ironically, it was three specific individuals in a group that I picked for this. But then since time has passed since I made this list, a fourth person has been added to that group. So originally it was every African American WWE championship, but which is in the past 5 years. So to be specific, obviously Kofi, Biggie, Bobby Lashley. But now I'm adding Bianca Belair because today is the 11th of June, right? Okay.
June, yeah.
But yeah, now I'm adding Bianca Belair because you saw at the last pay per view she lost her title belt to Asuka, and she was the longest reigning African American champion of all time for both genders. And the part that was crazy to me was that they ended her historic reign like with Asuka cheating, like rubbing in her eyes. I don't know if you saw the
Yeah,
match. Yeah.
like
And then the part that was crazy was, Bianca's breaking a record, right? She loses the belt. Asuka's got the belt for 6 days. And they said, hey, Asuka, here's a new championship because you deserve it. That made me so mad, bro. And we're gonna
We'll
talk about
save
the
our
belts.
comment.
We'll
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about the
save
belts
that in a
later.
little.
But like, it was like, hey, like Roman Reigns, you got 1,000 days. Here's a new belt. Hey, Bianca, you're the longest reigning African American champion ever. And then you lose and be like, all right, Oscar, you earned this new belt. Like, I feel like they were making it for her, and then they were like, let's give it to Oscar instead. But also like Kofi and Big E and Bobby Lashley, also just the way they lost their titles and how the reigns went was okay. So Bobby Lashley wasn't too bad, and also he lost to two Big E. So um,
Yeah, so that won't too bad.
yeah. So I mean, I think he got done dirty with the Hurt Business though. That's where he got done dirty specifically.
They
Especially
did.
could,
Oh,
huh?
I was gonna say he did. Didn't he lost it the second time to Brock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, second time. Yeah, that one was kind of.
But then Kofi and Big E for sure. I think I disagree with how they also lied their title reigns because Big E definitely he is a sleeper world champ like top guy, bro. Honestly, like when he had that match with Roman Reigns, I never liked Big E more. Oh my god, at Survivor Series a couple years ago, and then Kofi, man, come on, Kofi Mania. That's self-explanatory, like how dirty he got
Bro.
to have that like one of the biggest WrestleMania ending storylines ever. Like everybody in the world was like, in that story, literally had Vince in the story, right? Like Vince was literally
Bro,
saying he's a B plus player.
for real, like
and,
literally.
and so all that to happen just for him to lose the title in 12 seconds is like it was crazy to me. Oh my god.
Bro, that shit still bothers me to this day. Cause like I'm not mad that Kofi lost. He had a good run. He had 6 months. Like they could have went longer, but 6 months is solid, especially if they want to keep him in that world title loop where he could chase now. But the
Yeah.
fact that they had him on the debut episode of Fox, knowing that they're going to get millions and millions of views on that debut show, for him to lose in 1 minute to no, it was less than a minute actually,
It was like 12 seconds, bro. It was
12
ridiculous.
seconds
Like Brock
to
literally pulled
freaking
up.
Brock. Like that shit's crazy.
And don't get me wrong, I loved Brock Lesnar with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It was hilarious.
Oh, Boombox Brock was
Yeah, Brock Party.
that was
I was here
hilarious.
for it.
I was there for it too, man. That shit was hilarious.
I'm about to cut out and put speakers in the back of my briefcase, bro.
Bro, do it, man. That shit be dope. You get the he was just jamming his shit.
Yeah, I love it when Brock has fun. All right, who you got for number two?
So for number two, I got MVP.
Oh, okay. Why do you have MVP?
So I put MVP because, like, man, when this guy first debuted, like, this guy was hot, man. Like, this dude had like all the heat in the world. He played that like football player that got or NBA player that got drafted. He was in the crowd for like SmackDown and Raw, scouting where he was gonna bring his talents to. Had all the women around him. Like, I mean, he was money, and they gave him a U.S. championship run, gave him the tag titles. But they never gave him the world title run. And later on, I found out why. Like, I found out that because of him being a felon, that WWE said that they had a hard time marketing him because there are certain countries he's not allowed to go to.
Oh.
So that's why they never wanted to put him in the world title. So for that reason, I'm gonna say he was Hoed. But even though that was based off of his, criminal record from his past,
You
when he
could
was
say
super young.
you could say they made a business decision, and usually that's a cop
Yeah,
out to say they host somebody. But that one, like, I can kind of see both sides to that.
I
Because no,
can
for sure,
too.
MVP was hot, bro. You ain't even lying there. Back in the day, his theme song was hot. His
Facts.
in ring ability was good. Balling. I mean, nobody was doing what he was doing, especially to I feel like sometimes it's harder for a African American wrestler to make a gimmick, right? So he made his own
Mhm.
thing, and he really made it work.
He
Um,
really did. He really did.
yeah, MVP was fire.
Like
So.
he had the VIP lounge and shit,
Yeah,
man.
bro. And
And
then
I used to know. I still know. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it and be just so the audience can see how much of a mark I am for MVP back in the day. He'd be like this, ladies and gentlemen. Big things are popping, little things are stopping. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the view. Cause the VIP lounge for people that are better than you. Like that shit used to kill me, bro. I was dying. Like I was like, MVP is going to be a world champion. And the fact that politics, because like MVP is mentioned before, like he felt like they could have done something, because sure they are overseas and they could have gave him the world title like run a quick one, like when he was feuding with Batista at one point, like maybe like kind of like how they hold Rey Mysterio where they gave him the title for like less than a night, like
that was dirty. You know what's crazy?
Oh,
I
that
got
was
Ray on my list, bro, but that was dirty.
That was so.
John
Yeah,
Cena really said, "That's a nice belt you got there, bro. You should let
bro,
me challenge you for it." Oh, okay. Tonight. I just won it.
facts.
I don't care.
After he already lost the title the night before, like that. Oh, I don't even want to get started on that shit.
Bro, in the same night though, like he could have gave him a week, you know.
For real, like you couldn't have waited one fucking week. Like, damn.
So my number one, this man, if you could just pick one moment in a career that was just dirty, right? Like how we just talked about Rey Mysterio. This man, I think, got done dirtier than any WWE superstar in history. And I know what you're thinking, like, damn, this person must have got done dirty, and he did. My
Yeah.
number one is Rusev.
Oh, Rusev Day. That was over. That they could have won. They could have got money with that shit.
Yes, but to have Bobby Lashley come out and make out with your wife while you're in the ring doing nothing about it, Vince had to have had issues with him, bro, to be doing something like that. That storyline didn't even have a payoff. It wasn't even for a push for Rusev. Like they just wanted to like put him down. And him leaving the company, I'm so glad he did. I'm so glad everything with him and his wife are okay, like currently today. But like Vince did him dirty, bro, with that whole storyline. They didn't push him, which was crazy to punish a man for being super over like that.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Vince, man. Like if you are truly not over because of the way he pushed you and you just got something over that he gave you but and didn't think much of it, he's gonna kill it instead of really push it. Like
Yeah, because Rusev Day, that's the beauty of wrestling, right? The tiniest little dumbest thing can just blow up and become a thing, right? So literally one
facts.
day Rusev was just like, it's Rusev Day, right? And everybody was like, hell yeah. And then it became a thing, bro. And then him and Lana coming out to it and everybody, the fans going wild.
Yeah, Aiden English
And they
helped
were
out
like, nah,
tremendously with
bro,
that
we're not
too.
having this. Like, we don't care. And crazy thing too, this is how you know he was really over too. It didn't die out after a couple weeks. Like this went on for months. Like
Bro,
Rusev Day
it
was a thing for months, and they still weren't
months.
pushing him. Not even a singles title.
He had like at one point the number one selling merch. Also, like the
Mm-hmm.
fans, even in Saudi Arabia, wanted him so bad because originally they scheduled Jericho. Well, first they announced Rusev versus Undertaker in a casket match at Saudi Arabia originally.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they first was like, we're going over there and doing these big old, greatest Royal Rumble and crown jewels and stuff. Then fans rebelled, so they put Rusev back in, but they basically fed him to get kind of squashed, but not squashed too much, but basically like he barely got any offense out on Taker in that casket match.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and
that little situation right there, they changed it within like I think one day before the show's about to start. But that whole situation right there showed you how much Vince really did not want this guy to be pushed.
yeah,
Like it just man,
and for
Rusev
me,
belongs
like
there.
if I was a wrestler, right, and I can't speak for what they go through or do, right, but if I was a
Yeah.
wrestler and they told me, hey, for this storyline, we want you to
Mm-hmm.
win this match, right? We
Mm-hmm.
want you to stare up at the ramp, and then Bobby Lashley's gonna come out and make out your wife. I'd been like, yeah, we're not doing that. I don't care. You want this job? I'm like, not like that. Like I do, but I'm not doing that. I'll be
Big
messing
fact.
because you're gonna see me run down that ramp and fight Bobby for real.
Big facts, man. Like I still like I'm like, where were they going with that storyline? Like, were they
Nowhere.
gonna
Yeah,
make like Rusev and Lashley carry something? Like it made no sense. They just
it
wanted to put
didn't.
them down. So yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't even like a push off for Rusev to be like cool about it and come up and be a hero and beat Bobby. They didn't even do nothing with it. And I'm glad that he left because number one, if they were trying to put a wedge like that in his marriage, like that's messed up. Number two, I'm glad that we got Miro after that because I feel like AEW's dropping the ball with him right now. But when Miro
yeah,
was the TNT champion, he was awesome, bro. God's
he
chosen
was.
champion. Oh, I love that so much.
Bro,
That was so
I
fire.
loved it too, and he made that title cool as fuck. He had the white strap with it with the green and gold, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, this is what he needs, and then they
And
dropped the
now the
ball.
TNT championship's dead. I don't even know who the TNT champion is right now.
It's Wardlow still,
Is
but
it still
yeah,
Warlow? Okay, I know Samoa
yeah.
Joe lost it to him, and I ain't heard about nothing since.
Yeah, they were playing hot potato. Like they had Wardlow, and then Wardlow. I'm sorry. Then
Wardlow,
Powerhouse Hobbs had it. Then Joe had it. Now it's back on Wardlow. And
which also was weird too, because it was like, hey, we're gonna make Warlow and Samoa Joe a tag team, and they're War Joe, and then they're like, now they're beefing for the title. I'm like, that was the shortest tag team I've ever seen.
it was stupid, man. Like I hope that now that he's gonna be on that new Collision show that comes on Saturday, which
Mm-hmm.
some people call it the CM Punk show, but I hope that he gets the push he deserves. Or hell, give him a Punk and Miro feud. I think that would be pretty good.
Maybe I think that would be good because I mean Rusev and CM Punk didn't really cross paths in WWE, so Miro and CM
Yeah.
Punk would be a good thing.
I think so
Uh,
too. Yeah, I
I
think
think
besides that Royal Rumble spot they had, like in 2014's Punk's last day,
mhm.
but yeah, I think that would be perfect for them to do it. So I think my number one is going to top yours,
All
only
right, let's hear
because
it.
He has been held down for the longest, and he should have been world champion way back. Shelton fucking Benjamin.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah, because I already knew
Well,
Shelton should have been on my list. Because I'm such a big Shelton fan, and
Shelton Benjamin literally has been like he's killed almost everything he's done. When he was doing the world's greatest tag team, that got over. When
the gold standard, bro.
bro, yeah, when they split him up and he was doing just his singles thing, when he was the IC champion, he killed that. When he went into the US champion, gold standard stuff, man, killed that too. Like they never gave like Vince just never seen this guy as a world champion. Like they put him on ECW, which was the third brand in world champion. The ECW world champion didn't mean too much, but it was still something to have. They give it to freaking Matt Hardy before they even give it to freaking Shelton Benjamin. You know, like
Yeah.
Jack Swagger, for example. You know, Swagger. I like Swagger, but like, damn, like they could have gave Shelton one quick run with that world title if they didn't want to give him the W title or world champion. But still, can't
Yeah.
even give him that. Like, it's like this guy is athletic. I mean, he's not known for his promos because be too good, but he's not that bad. Like,
No, but his persona and his in-ring ability carried him. He was a true athlete, and it's kind of like they're doing Gable the way they did Benjamin 20 years ago.
oh, 100%. The only thing is
Yeah,
that Gable never won the mid card titles yet. That's the only difference.
true. Yeah, Shelton at least won those. Yeah.
And
Yeah, Gable's only won tag team gold, and yeah, it was crazy. And honestly, like Gable has done some crazy stuff in ring, showing strength, flexibility,
oh man, that
wrestling
German on
ability.
Braun. You seen
But
that
high
German he did
flying
on Braun
wise,
Strowman? Did you
yes,
see that?
bro. Braun didn't even help him, bro. Like he just lifted him. That was nuts.
Yeah, Gable is scary strong. Even though he's like five freaking like six, but that dude is strong.
Yeah, but Shelton had some athletic feats like with high flying stuff that Gable has not yet accomplished. And that definitely puts him over Gable on that aspect. So the fact that he's never gotten the push he deserved, I agree with you for sure on that. Number one, underrated. I wouldn't even say he got hoed, but I will say Shelton Benjamin's like the top underrated superstar of all time for sure.
100%, man. 100%, brother.
Bro, gold
So
standard.
there's
I
a
wish he was gold standard again.
yeah, man. I like those standard Shelton. Like he was money to me, man.
As a kid, I was so confused that he had blonde hair. And
Oh yeah.
like hair dye just wasn't an option, bro. I was just like, why is he blonde? I'm like,
The only person, only black guy I saw that was blonde before Shelton was Cisco. Like
yeah.
Cisco the singer. Yeah, you know, like
It's crazy to think that I feel like low key Cisco inspired Shelton for that, bro.
I think he did, man. Because Cisco's the only one that was doing that, like dyeing their hair that mainstream level. And when
Yeah,
Shelton started doing it, they were like, "What the fuck?"
they made it a style, and that was crazy because like people are doing that today, but like they started that. They
Start
paved
at
the way. They're fashion icons, is what they are. Cisco and
facts.
Shelton, baby. Let's put it on.
Big facts, brother.
I think we were kind of peeking into the title talk earlier,
Okay,
so I say we should go with that one next.
definitely.
Um,
So, who want to flame the title first? You or me?
I'm gonna let you cook, bro. You go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna cook this extra crispy 6 piece because what the fuck, W? Like, you guys are so fucking lazy. Like, you had that same dumb logo title for the last 10 years. You start with The Rock back when they had the scratch logo, but then you switched over to what it currently is now.
Mm-hmm.
So many people held that title. You had this, you've introduced a women's champion for Raw and SmackDown in the past and gave that same look. Now you're like, all right, let's do it again. We're gonna give Rosca, or what shit, let's start with Roman. You gave Roman the freaking title that you merged the WWE Universal Champion, and it's just this ugly, awful gold looking mess. I mean, it's not even ugly, it's just lazy. Like it's like and Roman gonna make it cool because that's Roman. You know, he gotta do it. But
we here.
but like damn, they could have really went in on it. Like the WWE World Heavyweight Champion looks great because there's actually some like thought and fucking like say carrying that title. Like they got a throwback to big gold. They got like 60 diamonds in there to count as the 60th year that they've been, WWE's been a thing. And I'll get that on the big screen. That's a nice belt, man. It's just that's a nice title, and it was for a while. So it was like, all right, now let's elevate. But nope, they're like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's just keep copy and paste. And then Oscar, that shit pissed me off with Oscars because I'm like,
That was the over the limit too for me.
how you gonna give the same title? All you doing is change the strap color white, and then you lazy bastards got the nerve to even have undisputed. I'm like, no, she's not undisputed. Rhea's still a fucking SmackDown
That's
champion.
what I'm saying.
What
Where
are
did
you
that come from?
doing?
And then what is the SmackDown's champion right now? What is it? Yeah, bro, I agree with you. Everything you said is very true, right? Lazy. So, mind you, like you were saying, right? So,
Yeah,
I love this design. This was a great design,
it
and it should
was.
have stayed the way it was. Now, they wanted to make, I understand they wanted to condense the belts because they realistically what they wanted to do. They wanted to get rid of the Universal Championship because the Universal Championship replaced the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah,
Because technically that was a fusion of the WWE and World Heavyweight Championship. That was
yeah.
the WWE World
World
Heavyweight
Title Champion. Yep,
Championships,
remember
right?
that? Yeah, yeah.
But they brought back the World Heavyweight title, which I'm happy about.
Me too. Like, I
I
like it.
like the design because number one, it's technically different. Number two, it is a great homage to Big Goldie, World Heavyweight
Yeah,
Championship.
yep.
Because that's a belt they should have never got rid of to begin with. That was a fire belt. Like
I still
Edge
don't know
looks so
why
good
they
with
did
it.
that.
Undertaker looks so good with it. Triple H looks so good with it.
It
Batista looks so good with it. It was a
that
good belt.
that title, Big Gold, has been around since the 70s, bro. It's made guys look so good with the title. Like no one has ever. You ever looked at someone? Maybe CM Punk back in 2009 when he
2010
first
when he
won
got
it.
rid of Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I was like, but other than that, I mean, it's still a good title.
It
Like
was a
they never
great
had to
title.
touch it. Yeah, never had to
And
touch it.
so for them to go and just like they were like, okay, cool, we bring back the World Heavyweight Championship, which was last month. And now they're like, let's fuse Roman's belts so that way we could have two world titles again. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. I agree with that idea. But then for them to go like and let's make this lazy copy and paste because the Universal Championship was supposed to be this new title, and I remember when they announced that, I was so gassed for it, bro. For
Me
it to just
too,
be a red
bro.
WWE Championship.
I was
So
like, really?
yeah, and then it goes to SmackDown. They're like, let's make it blue, and it
Like,
became the equivalent of the women's titles because they just looked like the WWE titles, but they were red and blue.
if we went to 205 Live or NXT, they would have been purple or gold. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, I mean, okay,
Like WWE
at
is
least the
horrible with
205
that.
Live, the Cruiserweight Championship, at least that one like had its own design though, and that's one thing
Yeah,
I'm happy about for the
that's kind of
IC.
fire.
And I'm happy for the IC and United States Championships because they never conform though. Because like I swear to God, if they just made the WWE Championship with the flag in the background behind the W, I'd be pissed. Like I love the current design. Austin Theory and that belt complement each other so well. Austin makes the belt look good, and the belt makes Austin look good. So
For
I
when
love
they
it.
first debuted that, I said that is the nicest looking belt that they currently have on the entire
Yeah, I'm not gonna
roster.
lie, mine is a knockoff off
Until
eBay, so I'll show it to you if you want. But it's
yeah, yeah,
it's
let me
not
see it.
3D like when you see Austin, like the way the eagle comes out and stuff. Mine don't do
Gotcha.
that. I'll go get it real quick. Hold
Yeah,
on.
look at it. That shit looks nice, man. Yeah, because what I was saying, like, man, it's just crazy how that U.S. title is literally the best looking title. The detail in it is amazing, and the U.S.
Yeah.
title, like,
So
look
this
at
one,
that.
this one's like a eBay knockoff. So the real one, like everything
That
kind of
it still
pops
looks
out.
nice. The
But
able,
yeah, it's like a
I
hard metal. But
I would take that title over the current shit any day. Like,
oh,
because
agreed.
I love titles that have like thought and care and detail. Like
Yes,
that U.S. title when
and
MVP debuted it, I was like, yo, that is the hottest U.S. title.
I was
Intercontinental title is
iffy.
like dog shit.
I was iffy on the new IC title when they announced it. I
Yeah,
think Shinsuke was the first person they announced it on because for
I think
me,
so, yeah.
the white IC title,
White shirt, oh,
fire,
fire.
so good.
You can't replace that. Like that
You
shit is
can't,
just.
but mind you, Gunther has made it look good.
I was just gonna say, like Gunther is the only one who has made that title actually look kind of cool. Where I'm like, you know what, that's kind of a nice title. Like he made it look so cool. I put it back in my universe mode because originally I always had just the white strap.
Yeah, I would always replace it too. That's crazy. Yeah, hot take right there. We would bring back
For
old IC
real.
title, but no, Gunther made it. Gunther made it relevant. Gunther made it look good. So what they're gonna do with the SmackDown Women's Championship, I'm very curious on because they're like, yo, Asuka, undisputed women's champion. So what is she? Like, also, she's the SmackDown champion, but I get y'all swap the belts, and they wanted to. I knew they were gonna do something like make them trade belts or something, and I know they were gonna wait till Bianca lost because she was on that record. That was something
Mm,
I kept in mind. But I didn't expect them to replace the belt. I just thought after they lost, they were like, yo, let's swap. Because mind you, Ripley's had the belt for almost 2 months, barely. So
yeah.
it's not like if they swapped the belts, it was going to be a big deal for her title reign.
Mm-hmm.
And same for Asuka, who held it for 6 days. So cool. But yeah, that's just a shit show right there with title belts. Also, they need to chill on just making new belts. Like we just got one, and they're like two more in a month. Like
For real. And
Like, did we just hit our like? It's like at the end of the year, like companies try to use up their budget to keep their budget the same. So they're like, oh shoot, we got a
facts.
couple extra mil. What should we do? Let's just make a bunch of new belts.
Facts. And the crazy shit about that, I'm like, if they would literally just focus on making the brand split actually matter and keeping them separate, so like these belts would actually mean something. Because like, okay, you're gonna
Yes.
call Oscar the undisputed women's champion, but it's like that would be cool if there wasn't a brand split and there's another freaking champion in Rhea Ripley. Like it's crazy. Like,
Yeah,
why
we
aren't you
need to.
guys?
They need to stop normalizing the word undisputed because for when
Mhm.
Brock Lesnar used it, it was cool, right? When Paul was using it for Brock, because the whole point of undisputed means if I win a belt and I'm undisputed, that means there's no question of my legacy. It means there's no question that anybody can challenge or rival me, right? So when Brock
Yeah,
had the titles and Paul was saying undisputed champion, it made sense.
a
Even
lot of
for
sense.
Roman, it made sense, and on top of that,
Mhm.
Roman actually held both belts, so it definitely made sense. But
Yeah,
it's like Oscar won the belt for 6 days, and they're like undisputed champion just because it sounds so cool to them. Like they need to stop
yeah.
using that word. I agree with the brand split for sure. Like I
Mhm.
love that they split the brand split because I hated when like back in like 2014, 2015, where everybody can just run to either show and the episodes, the storylines. If they like a storyline, you'll see some of it on Monday, you'll see some of it on Friday. I hate it was chaos. I didn't like it.
I hated
So
it,
I
man.
love the brand split, especially because 2016 SmackDown Live was top tier. Um,
Oh, loved it, man. That's when I got back into wrestling.
It was
But
it,
again,
it happened
like
while
full
I was
time.
I already got back into wrestling before the brand split because I remember I was in Kuwait that year actually, but
Mhm.
I was so excited for the draft and everything. Like they did such a good job that year, and I think it's better for the superstars and it's better for just the storytelling if you keep
Mhm.
things separated because it's like it makes it more authentic. It makes it fresh too because like
Mhm.
right now I don't even like how they're doing the Baron Corbin free agent thing. Because
Oh
this man
yes.
was like, "Oh, I'm not just on Raw SmackDown." He just went to NXT and beat up the champ, which I'm okay with, because I do think he needs some spotlight. But
Mhm. I don't mind him on NXT. I actually think like he could go over there and actually dominate. They could try to build this guy up and
I think so too, and I hope
maybe
they do.
be, yeah, like he could go back to being that, you know, not world champion
I
guy, but at
agree, but
least top guy.
I agree with you. But here's why I think they should stick to a show, right?
Mhm.
So Baron a week ago, he goes and he knocks out Carmelo Hayes and makes his claim, right? So
Mhm.
you go big fish going to smaller pond to show he's a dominant force and build him back up. Cool. But then on Friday Night SmackDown, he just got dropped by Cameron Grimes in an interview.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, what are we doing here? It's like they're telling. It's like when Karrion Kross was NXT champion, but then they had him debut on Raw for 1 week and get lost in a roll up pin at the opening match to Jeff Hardy. Like
Yeah,
it's
man.
like they're on different continuities. It's like the guy running for NXT is not the guy running for SmackDown. So like they can do what they
Mhm.
want with the same wrestlers and not care about the overall story for us who watch all of it and connect all of it.
Facts. There was reports that Vince he felt like no one watched NXT, so it's like when they got to the main roster, he's like, okay, let me strip everything that made you cool in NXT. This is how I see you, and that's why a lot of guys and women just did not work when they got to the main roster. It's like, why? Like, I'm not saying Vince is lazy. He's far from that, but like, you can't
He
just
he's
take.
he's a genius. It's just
Yeah,
that
it's like you
when
couldn't
times have
take
changed, some of the things that he saw that were working, he didn't adapt. He
facts.
for 30 years he was a genius. He was on top of his game. And he's still certain things he's still right about. Like Austin Theory was his pick, right?
Yeah,
Storyline or not. That's a
yeah.
great pick. I love Austin Theory. He's definitely the future of the company. He's got good work ethic, good storytelling.
Mhm.
But some things he's not, he just doesn't open to. He doesn't like indie guys, right? He thinks big, strong guys should carry the company. He
Yeah.
thinks guys like Austin Theory should cut, but like guys like Kevin Owens, stuff like that come from the indies that
Oh
Triple
yeah.
H are picking out. He's picking them out because they're good. Fans like them. Indie guys are
Mhm.
the guys that real wrestling. You have to be a real wrestling fan to go to an indie show. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because like, yeah, it's only like 5, 10, $15, but like you might not know the wrestlers, but you're going because you love wrestling.
Yep.
And so he didn't want to push these indie guys, and I think that is a big issue with all the people who got hoed today. Too it goes with our list, you know.
Bro, honestly, like it's crazy how that scenario of, oh, you don't fit this mold or you don't fit this idea, like we talked about earlier, where you get yourself over, even with Rusev, where he got himself over, but Vince didn't like that. So no, I'm not going
Yeah,
to push you. I need this guy in my head to be the one who's over, not who the fans want or who, what I'm saying? Like it makes
And I
Uh,
get the 50-50, right? From a business, or not even from a business, but for a storytelling perspective. I do understand that not everybody the fans like should win. All right. I
yeah,
get that real life doesn't have fairy tale endings, and it's okay for the bad guy to win sometimes. Because trust me, sometimes I root for heels more than faces just because I really like that heel. Because I'm
yeah,
telling you
yeah.
right
At
now,
certain times,
I was laughing when they put Mustafa Ali against Gunther in that last pay per view, bro. I was like, Gunther, like, and
yeah.
then Ali was getting confident, bro, and I'm getting mad, like, yo, Gunther, if you don't put him down, bro, like, what you doing?
It
You
was good
know?
storytelling they were doing, man. They were like, let
Yeah.
me
So
build their hopes up just a little so Gunther could just go and crush that shit. Bro, yeah, those I think we're so like on the same page when it comes to the new title looks. I think we're on the same
mhm.
page. Definitely, even with our top 10, I mean, our top fives, of what we
Yeah,
think.
surprisingly we didn't repeat. I thought we were gonna repeat somewhere, but we
I
didn't.
know. I thought we were gonna have at least
I'm
one.
surprised EC3 was on your list because I remember like when we had the idea of the list, we were talking about it. We were both like, "Yo, EC3 got done
No,
dirty."
originally, but like when we talked, I was like, okay, you're probably gonna use EC3. So I was like, let me think of something. That's when I thought of
Oh, okay.
MVP. Because originally, yeah, he was gonna be where
That was a good
MVP
pick.
was
I
at.
wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, MVP, I was like, I think he's definitely the guy that I could put instead of EC3 because his is different reasons too,
Mm-hmm.
or but shit. I think yeah, we should just be transitioning even now to predictions for Money in the Bank. Now there's only one clear winner.
But
That
yeah,
makes sense.
we on the
We're on
same
the
one for that.
same page.
Yeah, LA
So
Knight's got to take
LA
that
Knight,
briefcase, bro. Oh my god.
LA Knight.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Straight up,
dummy.
bro.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Go back to his Eli Drake days, like
I want him, bro. I honest to God want him to like, as much as I don't want Austin Theory to lose the belt, I want him to beat Austin Theory for the U.S. title and then just bring back the dummy button and just start clowning everybody, bro.
oh man, if he brings back
Dummy,
if
yeah.
if they let him get like his talk show and bring that dummy button back, bro, he is going to be John Cena merch level. Like they just give him the dummy shirt again and dummy, yeah, like they have so much with this guy, and yet there's reports coming out like they're like WWE is not, or let's just say Triple H don't really have the plans to give him the money bank. They originally had plans for someone else, which to me it makes no sense. I
Well,
don't even know who.
that's the downside of the bloodline. The bloodline has stunted a lot of superstars' growth to the main event level because Roman
Mhm.
Reigns has held the main event picture in hostage. That's why Seth Rollins at least is bringing back a main event picture, so that way people can start challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that's just the side
Facts.
effect of it because it's like they want to push. If they wanted to push LA Knight, there's only two places he can go right now, unless they
Mhm.
decide to have him beat the Bloodline, and that would just be. I mean, as much as I would think that would be cool, it'd be a poor ending to that story for Roman
Yeah.
Reigns to lose it to LA Knight because they've never talked before, you
Mhm.
know. I think the most realistic option is the United States Championship. I would love him to. I would be okay with him winning the Money in the Bank and then eventually cashing in on Seth.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't mind if he had Seth, like if he cashed on Seth and won that, but if he was gonna do like the U.S. title, like how they did with fucking Austin Theory, like
Oh,
that.
don't cash in on that.
Oh,
Oh
bro,
no.
I
Especially because that would bury Austin more. That not only could
bro,
he fail his cash in for U.S. title, which was disgusting. I should have put him on the list.
I know he got hold for it, but that wasn't even Vince's watch. That was Triple H's watch. Like
Yeah,
that.
but I think Triple H
Oh,
did that to build him back up. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was so mad. I was watching that. I was here actually. This was last September. I was still in Washington, and I flew here to see my dad's retirement ceremony.
awesome, awesome.
I was upstairs watching like, that episode of Raw with my grandpa, and I'm sitting there like, no way, he's not cashing in. He's not cashing in. And then Mans got laid out by Bobby Lashley when he was about to win, and then they had
Bro,
him lose. At first, I was like, bro, don't cash in on the U.S. title. What?
that's exactly what I was saying. And then they had him lose, and I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, I get that they're like, oh, let's erase him, let's break him down and build him up, but that was not. They did not need to do that. Like
Yeah, but if you look at
they
it
could
from
if
now,
they could have just
from
had him
now
lose
though,
to
he
Roman
had
if they wanted him to lose. Like that makes no
honestly,
sense.
yeah, bro.
And
I'm
at
not
least
gonna
that gives
lie.
them something to know, like a bone to gnaw on for like later on they could bring back Roman theory. Like. But yeah, go ahead,
Bro,
bro. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it's so funny you brought that up, like having lose to Roman, because I was dying every single pay per view. They were having Austin just run in to cash in and then getting knocked out every time was hilarious because they had Hell in the Cell. Brock like looked at him and was like, "Nah, bro, F5'd him." The one that really was like I could not breathe laughing was Clash at the Castle, where like Roman's laid out, Drew's laid out, Solo's laid out, or no, Solo wasn't there yet, but the Usos are laid out. and everybody's like unconscious, and then Theory runs in, and his theme song was so good for a cash in too. Hey, down, down. Everybody's like, oh god.
Yeah, we're like,
And he
oh.
runs down the ring, hands the briefcase to the guy, and then Tyson Fury's not minding his own business, just stands. You don't even see his tall ass, bro. He just stands up, clocks him, and in theory, bro, he played that. He's dead. His legs twitching. I was like, bro, I
Yeah,
love this. They just keep doing dirty every play per view.
he killed it, man. And I really hope
Great
that they
money in the
give him a
bank.
big. I hope they give him a big push, like eventually. Like I think there's money with Theory. I think there is. If they just got to handle him right, you know.
No, I agree. I think for him in his future, so I honestly don't want him to ever lose the US title, but he's gonna have to lose it eventually to somebody. And when he does,
It could be LA Knight.
I
You
would
know?
I wouldn't be mad about it if he had to. Yeah, LA Knight's a good contender, but then
Yeah.
have him kind of stay on that mid upper card level and have
Mhm.
him whatchamacallit, have him just stay in like rivalries, like just beefs with people. I think that would be good. What I don't want to happen, which I'm seeing a trend, um, now that he's aligned with Pretty Deadly, I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna start they're gonna get into this SmackDown tag team vortex that they do, where these tag teams just go on matches for literally all year. Because like at one point it was literally Imperium versus the New Day for a year straight. Then it
Yeah.
was Drew McIntyre and Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium for like a year straight. And so
Mhm.
now it's going to be like the Brawling Brutes versus Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly for like the next year. And then they might throw the LWO in there so they have somebody to lose, you
Yep.
know?
It's crazy how we could already see the future of what they're probably gonna do. Like it's crazy, man. We could talk about the bloodline.
The
Now
Bloodline.
it's already exploded. This will be the last top we talk for the episode. Roman definitely, he's been killing it with his bloodline. He's been on top for what 3 years now at WWE, and
Unstoppable.
finally, like the story is really starting to pick. I mean, it was picking up with Sam. Don't get me wrong, but now that we're seeing him turn on his
We're
family,
starting to hit the ending part of the book. We
mm-hmm,
finally have turmoil in the bloodline finally exploding to this extent. Jimmy's caused it. They have Jay dancing in between.
mm-hmm.
Um,
And
I
Solo was
can't
just
wait.
100% Roman.
Yeah, bro. So Solo. I had a feeling he was going to side with Roman because number one, 2v2 makes a better story.
Mhm.
But also because they planned it out so perfectly at the last pay per view. For Jimmy and Jay to kick Solo in the face on accident. I knew that was going to stir the pot of how he felt. So, but for him to hug his brother and be like, "These are my brothers," and then lay out Jimmy, I was like, "Oh." And
He
then the
said, I
crazy thing
fell in
too
line,
is
my tribal chief.
if Solo would have minded his business on Friday, Jay could have won the U.S. title, but
Yep.
uh,
I
I mean, I
think
didn't think he was beating my boy Austin anyway. That's crazy. I can't decide who I like more, Jay or Austin.
I know, right? Probably Jay, since Jay's been there a little longer, and you just want like I kind of want him to be the one to take Roman down, but I know it's
I would
not.
love that.
I would love
I
it
think
though.
it's still going to be Cody. Ironically, um, it's just they got to stop having Cody get beat up by Brock and do this sob story. I'm kind of getting old over it.
Facts. Cody should have won WrestleMania for one, but if they want to play the long game, I
I
understand.
I heard that because of the fact that they were trying to sell WWE, like because you know how the whole company got bought
Yeah,
by Strikeforce or whatever that owns UFC.
Endeavor. Yeah, they
Endeavor,
bought.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because of that purchase, they didn't want to risk sales by swapping the champion right as a new company takes over. Because Roman right now is revenue. Roman is
Oh
money. As
yeah,
much as we don't want to dispute that,
yeah.
I do think he has been champion too long though, and he's been holding it hostage. And I think somebody else should be champion. That way, other people could have potential to be good champion.
Mhm. Like he's so good at being the world champion. Like it's almost like I can't even see no one taking it from him. Like I mean, the way I would go though, I would say it would have to be Solo. Like they continue to build him as this
Mm.
monster until one day he's like, enough's enough. I've turned on my brothers for you. I've followed you. I've won you. Kept help you winning world titles and shit. So
Mm-hmm.
Solo finally wakes up and see how much he's being manipulated and end up winning. But if not Solo, I mean, there's not many people left for Roman. Like, I mean, Austin
Well,
Theory would be one, maybe Karrion Cross, but
mind you, he never officially beat Seth, so I think Seth will
true.
always be an option.
Oh God! Now I just got you said that. Now that just got in my head. They're going to unify the titles eventually. Roman's going to win it, man. We're going to go like this, and Roman's going to have.
If they ever did that,
Bro,
I would be disgusted. I would say I quit, but I never will quit.
for real,
Um,
I wouldn't quit, but I would be on strike for a couple
if Drew
weeks.
doesn't leave the company, because I have talks that he's unhappy right now. If Drew doesn't leave the company, Drew's another person who could do it. Bobby hasn't gotten his shot yet.
Yeah,
Um,
so there's Bobby. We don't
Bobby
even know
versus
where Bobby is. Like he's been missing.
he's on Raw still.
Like we haven't seen him since he lost to Styles.
That is a good point. Or
Yeah,
he's
like,
been on
I don't know.
SmackDown.
I heard he might have an injury, but I don't know if it's legit.
We'll look about that and we'll reconvene. But Bobby is also an option, I think. Bobby versus Roman would be a fire match, I think. Because they did it once in 2016 when the Raw split. Bobby came back. They had that match and Roman won. But as
Mm-hmm.
much as Roman has improved since then, so has Bobby.
Yeah,
So
Bobby's been amazing, man. Like, I mean,
since
his work
then,
in
yeah,
TNA was great, but when he became the Almighty in
that's
A
what I was
Ring
saying.
Pro and
Roman
Hurt
became the tribal
Business,
chief, but Bobby Lashley became the Almighty. So if he
yeah,
brings back the Hurt Business to counter the Bloodline, we got ourselves a match.
bro,
That's a main event right there.
I cannot wait. Like, that would be a really great match.
Also,
Like,
too, because it's crazy too, bro. Because then you got MVP to counter Paul Heyman, so you both got a
big fact,
spokesperson.
facts, man, facts. Like
Yeah,
that's
imagine the promo
but
those two would have against each
what?
other. That'd be fire.
Oh man, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, guys. MVP is fire. Fucking Paul Heyman's always fired, man. That
God
would
on the
be,
mic.
yeah, like that would be just crazy. But I mean, I don't know. What's your prediction on the bloodline? Like, do you think Roman will lose that on like to one of the family members, like his title, or do you
I
think
do
it's gonna be
not think
someone else?
Roman will finally lose the title to a family member. As much as I would like it to be Jay Uso, I've heard some talks about long
Main
term.
event J, as we
Yeah,
call it.
honestly, I want main event Jey Uso back. I want him to finally spaz and be like, I'm done with the bloodline, and side with Sammy and Jay because that's where or Jimmy because that's where he belongs.
Mhm.
But I think now that the turmoil's there, it's gonna cause. So here's the thing, right? Sammy and Kevin are still like on a vendetta for the bloodline, right? So the
Mhm.
more people Roman piss off, the more people that are just dedicated to making sure he loses. So eventually, somebody like Cody will come back and get his title shot, or Seth, or whoever the case, Braun Breaker, because he's calling out Seth for some reason from NXT. I think
Made
that's.
no sense.
I'm not saying he ain't fired, but that's just kind of a stretch. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was like I was so confused on it. I was like, why are you?
I think it'll be a good match, but there's no way in hell Braun's
Oh
winning.
yeah,
I don't
oh
think that
yeah.
would happen right now.
Honestly, I want to give Seth Rollins some credit. Like, as a, I don't think I've ever seen a well. Okay, probably the match with him, the Fiend at the fucking Hell in a Cell dumb finish. That was all Vince. But I was gonna say I don't think he's ever had a bad match. And Braun is really good. He reminds me of like a young, more athletic and like more moveset shown Goldberg.
Oh,
Like
Goldberg. Okay, I thought you were about to say Scott Steiner, and I was like, well,
no,
I have
no.
something crazy to tell you
I
about
love
that.
Scott, but like I think he's really good. But Scott, his promos were just out of this world, man. Like especially when it's TNA. But yeah, Scott was up there, man. One of the goats.
I was like, we know that's his dad, right, or his uncle or something.
Uncle, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Rick Steiner's dad, yeah. But
yeah.
they
Okay, yeah.
he sounds just like Scott. That shit's weird.
No, hot take. I'm not really a big Goldberg fan. I mean, I think he was cool back in the day. I hate him ever since they keep bringing him back for storylines, or Vince would do WrestleMania season, where
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, hey, here's this cool story we've been building all year," and then WrestleMania comes around, where Roman comes around, and they're like, yeah, make the champion lose the belt, call Goldberg real quick, and then we'll have a match." You know?
yeah. I think a lot of fans turned on Goldberg when Vince made him beat Owens for the Universal Champion.
Yeah,
But I
they
think
had.
they turned on him even more once they brought him back and then he won the title from the Fiend when he killed the Fiend. And
Yeah, bro.
yeah,
Like you have this beautifully built up villain, right? That beats Seth Rollins for the Universal Champion. And this is Seth Rollins who beat Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins. So this
yeah,
is
beat the
top tier
Beast
Seth
Slayer.
Rollins. The
Yep.
Beast Slayer, right? And this is also past the King Slayer. I do like Seth Rollins got a lot of cool names.
Yeah.
But and then you have Goldberg of all people come back. Like they were trying to book him like he was bigger than Brock Lesnar, bro. And I was like, I'm not
Mhm.
having this. Like at least Brock Lesnar went to the UFC, became a real world champion, then came back to be the most believable dominant champion. He earned his place.
Yeah.
And you got Goldberg, who's this 50-year-old big
50-year
old
old.
redneck dude. And
Yeah, like and I love
who's
Goldberg.
next?
bro, I was a big fan of Goldberg growing up. Like he was just awesome. But like
Early 2000s
it
got it,
was
but
yeah, like late
today,
'90s, early two
nah.
thousands. But like yeah, when he took that break, it's not like he went like you mentioned Brock. Like Brock went, he became the UFC champion, he dominated, and then came back. Goldberg just was gone, golfing, doing acting, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my son wants to see me wrestle, so I'm gonna come back and wrestle, and like it was
Stupid,
crazy.
bro.
But don't worry, go making a return to. I think there's rumors him and Tony Khan are in talks. So I think
Oh,
we'll
they
see.
can do what
We'll
they
see.
want in AEW. I don't care. Just keep them at a distance.
Facts.
But if he takes
Facts.
the belt off my boy MJF, we're gonna have problems.
Oh man, they might feed him to him like just to give MJF like and I beat Gold or the badass in the '90s, something like that. But if they would ever, oh man, they would lose so much of their fan base. I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
True.
But bro, thank you so much for joining me here on this first episode of Wrestle Theory. We've hit up all of our topics. I think we gave the fans, or well, I guess our new audience. I don't know what we're gonna call them yet. We'll figure something out.
We'll let
Give
y'all know. Y'all let
give
us
them
know
some
too.
good. Give them good content, and I hope that you all agree or maybe even disagree. I mean, just comment, let us know. We'll be active on our social media platforms and stuff, and we'll continue to keep rolling out these episodes. We're just two passionate fans, and we want to meet other passionate fans. So, Devin, any last words you got to say, Oos?
Nah, just hey, anything that you guys want to hear us talk about, drop it in the comments. We'll look at them and we'll pick a few. All right, y'all boys be smooth now.
Yep. That's Devin Oos, and I'm the people's champ this time. So the people's choice, but of course you can find me anywhere with the people's choice, over here. For cheap plug right there. But no, thank you guys all for joining us on Wrestle Theory, and we'll see you again soon. Boom.